Good morning, African superstar family. This is Gina Ifoe, the one and only African superstar. I know that this is an extremely early live, and I couldn't help but sharing my thoughts as I woke up several hours ago. And this was actually what was on my mind. Um, I think, and it's rather obvious that a lot of people give a lot of attention to past failures, traumas, difficulties, disappointments, and all of that. I think our people, especially because we go through so many tumultuous things, those of us that were based in the West, we've dealt with the racism, we've dealt with the discrimination, we've dealt with just the disappointments altogether. And there's also the history. There's also um, bits and pieces of what we know about things that have also happened to our people of the past. And like I said, I woke up a couple hours ago. It's quite early in the morning on my side, and I know it's early in the U.S., but I just wanted to bring this message to you guys. And that question is, do you want healing or will you remain forever broken? The thing about healing is no one can give you healing. No one can give you peace. No one can give you reconciliation. Okay. People can only um, maybe give you consolation or a shoulder to cry on or a listening ear. Healing comes from within. Healing is a choice. Okay. It is a realization that whatever you have endured, you or whatever you will endure in the future, you will overcome that. For instance, I will give you an example. I remember a good friend of mine in university, and we had a conversation probably like our second year, and it was very profound. So I still remember it. And basically, the girl told me that her dad had never been a part of her life growing up, you know, and that she knew that there was a lot of statistics surrounding women that don't have access to their fathers growing up. Okay, big shout out to the African Superstar family. Please make sure you like the stream, guys. It's early morning for me, so we're gonna do it this style today. So you're just gonna listen to the sound of my voice, okay? But please, please don't hesitate to support the stream and make sure that you like it and also any comments you want to share. So anyway, my friend told me that she knew that there were all these statistics surrounding women that didn't grow up with their fathers. A lot of those statistics include domestic violence. They include teenage pregnancy. They include a lot of emotional problems and so on and so forth. So she told me, you know, that she made the conscious decision not to let that relationship or that lack of relationship hinder her for the rest of her life. You know, she chose that, hey, and the way that she looked at it was, we get caught up in the fact that, for instance, these people are connected to us. So we look at our parents, and quite naturally, you look at your parents and you think, okay, this is my mom and my dad, and you may put them on a pedestal and you may look at them as this great person, when in reality they're men and women just like us. And they have their fallacies and they have their weaknesses and things like that. And she pointed out, hey, my dad is a man, you know and for one reason or another, the decision for him not to be in my life, it didn't have anything to do with me, because he doesn't know me. He didn't grow up with me. He doesn't know me as an adult. He doesn't know me as an individual. Okay. His decision to be an irresponsible parent was his decision as a man. And I'm not going to let that hinder my future. And, I have always remembered that. And that really changed the way that I looked at the world, because the world can treat me any way, but the decision to go forward is mine. And when you guys come on my channel, for instance, and you watch my journey or you listen to my messages or, you utilize this as a resource, know that my decision to kind of escape racism in the West and pursue the continent and basically pursue myself at the highest level of functionality. Me going to the motherland is about Gina being in the best possible position to function at her highest potential. It was a conscious choice. I didn't seek anybody else's instruction. And this can be applied in all areas of your life, guys. It's just like SMP. Healing is a choice. Healing is self-manufactured. Okay. You can either keep talking about what has happened. Big shout outs to Matrell on a Mission. Big shout outs to the family. I see a few of you out there. So if you want to be greeted, leave me a message in the chat. Big shout outs to all the African Superstar family, the customers at AfricanSuperstar.com, our members only. I recognize you. Thank you so much for your support. You make that conscious decision that no one else or the things that people do to you or the disappointments or the setbacks or the obstacles are going to hold you back. That's your personal choice. And I think that 2021, the recent years and the recent, promotion of how people deal with life's challenges is crippling us, because people don't get over things. Do you think that, for instance, our parents didn't have their own obstacles? What about your grandparents? What about your great grandparents? What about your ancestors, further into the past? And matter of fact, some of them endured really heinous and difficult conditions. And they didn't sit for their entire life talking about that. They didn't sit down for their entire life talking about the things that they endured. They were equipped with the ability to persevere. And that's what I want to share with you guys. Obviously, it's that time of the year for me to begin to strategize for 2022. For instance, I start planning out next year in the last quarter of the current year. And so I'm extra contemplative and thinking of ways to just be effective. And I think that you guys should definitely begin to heal yourself if you haven't. Things that have happened to you in your past, they may not be your fault, but the outcome, you have complete control over the outcome. And if you think about it, maybe something that happened to you, like, let's say it was a relationship. You spent years in a relationship, this person abandoned you or whatever, or maybe even it wasn't a long-term thing. Maybe you had a disappointment that affected you, a friendship or relationship or the job or, just some kind of setback. It's kind of crazy that whatever it is going to impact you for years or decades. And you have to consciously safeguard against that happening. I can say in the past 2 years, for instance, I've had probably over 20 different critical situations happen. Some of them I've shared on the channel and others I haven't, because I just deal with the problems that go on. Early 2020, I got sacked from my job. Okay. COVID came and affected my travel plans, affected my business plans, for 2020. Many of you guys remember I was supposed to speak at a conference in Senegal. I really, really was looking forward to that. And I really was looking forward to the exposure, to the growth, the networking that I was going to be able to do at that event. The borders were shut to Ghana when I was supposed to move in June 2020. I couldn't even move. My landlord gave me short notice that I had to move out of my home, the only home that I'd had in the UK, that I needed to move out. And this was within, uh, you know, uh, basically, I mean, that happened in July, and I was waiting to move to Ghana as soon as the borders opened, which eventually happened in September. So I had to move house right before relocating to Ghana, get to Ghana. The relationship that I had been in for over a year, we decided to go our separate ways, you know, begin a new relationship. That person decided to move and leave the country. Then my YouTube channel got taken down in April. You see, I'm giving you all this to let you know that, and that was just a rough timeline. There's been other things in between, but I don't ever let those things hold me back. Healing is a conscious choice, guys. Nobody is going to designate healing. And this is what you got to know. Because going into the new year, we don't know what kind of obstacles we're going to be confronted with. We don't know what kind of external challenges we may be presented with. And the only way that you're going to be able to survive, and the only way that you're still going to be productive through it all, is if you choose that you will. Some of you guys are choosing the path of not getting inoculated. Okay. That is going to come with some hurdles. Okay. That is going to come with some ups and downs. Okay. That may cause you to miss out on certain things or whatever. That might separate you from people that you know. If you're choosing that path in life, then you got to be ready to take on the associated challenges that go with that. Moving to the continent, residing on the continent comes with its own set of challenges. I would encourage those of you that are planning to go to make that resolution before you go about what you're going to do and how you're going to respond to the challenges. Are you going to run back to the West? Are you going to give up? Or, are you going to decide that you're going to be resilient? If you get knocked down, if you have unforeseen things happen, what's going to be your methodology to, recalibrate? And this is what's missing. This conversation is what's missing in our modern day. I encourage you guys to share this video with all your friends, your family members, people that you know that are really struggling to get over certain things. There are some people, and I'm just going to be extremely blunt with this next point. Those of us now living in 2021, we don't know the realities of slavery, for instance. Okay, I'm willing to barter that, 100% of my viewers have never actively, for instance, been a slave. They may have read about it. They may have watched movies about it. They may have visited, historical sites and kind of had role plays about it. But the reality of living in a physical slavery situation, we don't know. The fact that it has happened, it cannot and should not be a hindrance to our future. We should resound against that. And if anything, that should be a source of inspiration for us to reposition ourselves in our lives and in society. I can't speak for you guys, but I know for me, when people try to write me off or when people try to, prohibit my mobility, that only makes me much more forceful, and that only makes me much more dedicated and determined to basically prove them wrong and show them otherwise, really. And some of you guys, your haters and people, disparaging comments and all that stuff really gets you down. For me, it's a tremendous form of inspiration, but all that I'm really sharing with this message, guys, is that healing is a personal choice. The things that have happened to you, don't internalize them. I can't tell you how many jobs, for instance, at this point, it's probably been about a handful that I can recall. How many jobs I've been penalized at for being my authentic self, been penalized racially based, because I wouldn't conform, because I would, fraternize with them outside of the workplace, because I'm my own person and I have my own thoughts and, et cetera, et cetera. I realized that it wasn't me. It's a part of the system that I was a part of that made me vulnerable to those things. Take Gina out and insert someone else. Put Mitrell on a mission in the same position. Put Sarah in the same position. Put my sisters or my friends or my cousins in the same position. They endure the same thing because it's a part of the environment that we were a part of. You see, I don't internalize that. Some of you guys are still talking about the divorce from 10 years ago or whatever, or the job loss from 10 years ago, or how that certain person wasn't romantically interested in you 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It's not acceptable for 2021, 2022, 2030. It is a choice, guys. Make the choice. Refuse to give your obstacles that much relevance in your future. Maybe whatever happened to you was a serious blow. I understand. Trust me, I get it. Whatever happened to you was a serious blow, setback. Cost you a lot of money, cost you a lot of time, cost you a lot of emotional distress. Maybe something physical happened to you. But honestly, guys, it has to come from within. Deal with your problems and overcome your problems. Heal yourself. No amount of therapy is going to help you. No amount of venting is going to help you. No amount of posting, subliminal posts online or whatever, because it's not for anybody else to heal you. This can even be applicable for the racial construct that we go through, for instance. Okay. White people's response to us is not necessarily our problem. Okay. That's their problem. But how you're going to respond to it is your ordeal. You know what I mean? I feel that as a people, we are waiting for someone else to solve it. We don't need to wait for them to solve it. We need to just make the decisions about what we want to do. I personally was sick of being victimized by white women in the workplace. Sick of it. Sick of it. So my primary goal was, let me get in a place where I'm not going to have to deal with that. And where is the only place that I'm not going to have to deal with it as it is today currently? Is the continent. So that's where I need to be. Because I don't want to spend my day to day answering to these people and blah, blah, blah. You see, I solved my own problem, even something that complex. You see, because living in their societies and asking them to be reasonable and asking them to be humane, it's just a little far-fetched. It has never yielded results. I'm getting ready to wrap up here. What's up, family? If you're here, please make sure to make your presence known. Big shout outs to Nana Dreams, Mitrell on a Mission. Big shout outs to my moderators today. And everybody who's going to watch this playback, because this is an important message. That's why I'm not on the screen today. I just really want you guys to hear me and hear what I have to say. I know some people come, they just want to watch me and, see my antics and all that. But today, this is a very important message because I want people to begin to realize their own power to address whatever they're encountering in their life. It is your decision. It is your decision. And you know what? You are actually maimed. Okay. You are actually defunct when you cannot get over your problems. It becomes a very vulnerable area for you because you have not dealt with it. Those of you guys watching me know back in June, for any new viewers, my birthday is June 26th. So for this past birthday, I had a photo shoot with Joseph Mayer Photography, which is an ex-boyfriend of mine. Okay. And for instance, Joseph and I, we have a lot of history. There's a lot of emotions in that situation. Now, we broke up in October 2020. Okay. So fast forward to June 2021. Okay. I was able to go and have a, very professional, very cool photo shoot with Joseph Mayer. I didn't go there and mistreat him. I didn't have to get a different photographer, and we interacted just like mature adults. It was just a normal photo shoot. If I had a lot of bitterness and unresolved emotions from that situation and stuff like that, I wouldn't have been able to handle that. You see? And that's how some of you are responding to the future. Because of whatever has happened in the past, you're unable to move forward. Because somebody hurt you in the past, now you have this perspective on the world. We see a lot of that here on YouTube, for instance. A lot of hurt men, a lot of hurt women. They've run in and had bad relationships, they've had bad friends, they've had bad family. And now everybody looks like that to them. There was this medicine in the US called Gardasil. And their slogan was, "It only takes one." And they were basically promoting, you can go through a lot of stuff, but it only takes one thing to make it right. And obviously that was Gardasil. There was a, prescription drug they were advertising in America some years ago. And I remember that campaign because that's my mentality, for instance, in regards to relationships. It only takes one. You might encounter a lot of people in your life. And maybe those people don't work out, and maybe those people are not good for you, but it only takes one to make it all right. Shout outs to all my entrepreneurs out there. Entrepreneurship is a bumpy road. It's high and lows and, challenges. And, for many of us that are on this entrepreneurship path, it's foreign to us. We're learning as we go. It only takes that one idea. It only takes that one moment. And in our day and age, it only takes that viral moment to make your business explode, for instance. So you keep on your journey. It only takes that one interview. It only takes that one encounter with the person. It only takes that one, moment. So do not be discouraged when maybe you go through 50 moments of failure, disappointment. You got to go back to the drawing board and re-strategize. I mean, let's be honest, guys. Do you think that it's easy to go from having a platform, all right, of over 10,000 subscribers that generates a good amount of money for you every month so that you can live your best life in Africa, doing what you want to do? Do you think that it's easy for me to go from that to starting a brand new platform all the way from scratch? you know, But this is, the thing about me that you can always rest assured is the things that I'm sharing with you and the advices that I always try to promote are things that I also apply in my own personal life. And I personally want to demonstrate to my peers that it's possible to come back over and over and over and over and over again to generate success, to get to your optimum version. It's possible, but I have not gotten where I am in life by not making the conscious choice. I made the conscious choice that I will live my best life. I will search the world. I will find the place where it's most suited for me. And I remember my New Year's resolution, my only New Year's resolution in 2020. I remember I was actually in December 2019, I went to Ghana for 2 weeks. For any of you guys that have watched me for a long time, that was actually when Joseph Mayer and we launched our Love on the Continent series. And I remember I was in a pool. I had a really nice Airbnb. I would get in the pool every morning for an hour. And I was sitting in the pool early December. And I thought to myself, my only New Year's resolution for 2020 is to spend the majority of my time doing things that I want to do and I like doing. My quest was to figure out how to do that. And so I put my energy into my YouTube channel. I put my energy into the africansuperstar.com, you know, um, and that became my focus. And once I moved to the continent, I began to enjoy my life. So, the majority of my life, the majority of my days, just so fulfilling. But all of that is a conscious decision, and so is being healed. Okay. You're wasting your time waiting for other people to delegate your healing. It's all inside of you. It's your choice. It's your choice. So I hope that you found this message meaningful. Like I said, I think this is a very, very valid conversation, and I would encourage you guys to share this with your friends. Share this on social media platforms. Give it to someone that you think could really benefit from this message, because our people are not doing well with this. Our people talk and talk and talk and talk and talk about the problems and not solutions and not how to overcome. And we give so much energy to the problem and very, very little resources or energy to the solution, which means that the problem will remain. I tell you guys all the time, this issue of the racial inequality in America, if our ancestors, for instance, decided, you know what, forget America. You know what I'm saying? Like how many millions of our people gotta go through the stress. But you see, we put more energy into the fact that we, how to endure it and what to do when it happens to you. And, we haven't thought about, what, let's eradicate it because we won't be in their environments. Guess what? You can't get killed by a police officer in America if you ain't in America. Huh? You can't deal with racial discrimination on the job if you're the boss or you work for a predominantly Black owned and operated business. And the truth is, there are solutions. We talk about the mentality of our people. We talk about the fact that we don't know our history and, we don't learn so much stuff. Well, guess what? We don't even take control of our education. So it's no mystery that they're going to not thoroughly educate us. The solutions are right in front of our eyes, guys. But we rather talk about civil rights, and we rather do the protests and the march, and we rather do remembrance of this and that, and the song and dance of the instead of addressing the root problem. I'm a root problem kind of girl, and that's why I'm living the life that I live. Because the problems I'm dealing with, I don't want to keep dealing with them. I want to put my head down, you know, put some effort in and solve things and get over it. So I'm not still talking about whatever happened to me. You know, I talk about things as a reference point, but I don't wake up in the morning and think about what happened to me back in 2001, 2002. I told you guys my big sister Michelle, she has an amazing memory. She often reminds me different things that we've been through, different things that I've dealt with. To be honest with y'all, until she brings them up, a lot of things I've just completely forgotten. You know, because my attitude is I take it on, solve it, and next year at this time, you'll be in a different position. That's exactly how I look at things. Um, there have been some things that have been more difficult than others. You know, for instance, like a friendship I had for 20 years coming to an end a couple years ago. You know, there are times when I think about my friend, you know, and I miss her, you know. She chose to end the friendship. You know, I just gotta accept it. It's part of the path that I'm on. I'm too bold for some people. I'm too real for some people. You know, I convict certain people that are in my environment because they're choosing to live a different reality. And they, you know, when they want to continue to be a victim and I'm promoting them to be a champion, there's a conflict. There's a call to action that they don't want to answer. So it's easier just to get me out of their environment than address their own issues. So a big shout out to the family. I appreciate those of you that have watched this message. Like I said, I know it's very early on my side of the ocean and certainly earlier in America. Big shout outs to all my viewers around the world. Please make sure, guys, you like, share, and subscribe our channel. Share this video, get the message out, help our people overcome their situations. And, you know, if you're someone who has been struggling with things that have happened to you, just know that it's a conscious choice. You need to sit down with yourself and say, you know what, this is the end. I'm going to get past this. I'm going to move on. You know, that wasn't the only job in the world. That wasn't the only woman in the world. That wasn't the only man in the world. That wasn't the only friend. You know, I was a whole individual before interacting in that situation, and I'm a whole individual after. You know, think about these encounters that we have in our lives like accessories. You know, you are the human being and you put on a nice pair of earrings, or you put on the Nike trainers, or you put on the baseball cap, or the beautiful dress, or the nice suit. You put it on top of who you are, which means if it gets removed, you know, if you lose one of your earrings, you know, or somebody steps on your trainers, or you get a rip in your dress, or you know they had to repossess your car or whatever, it doesn't add or subtract from you as an individual. You are still that individual, that whole individual, you know. So big shout outs to the family. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up now. I will see you guys a bit later. Okay, so until we meet again, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.